Alrighty. Let's go ahead and grab this. We're just gonna throw an ad on my stream, cause you know, why not? Anyway, let's boot up Darksouls Remastered. From software. Alright, we gotta fix that and go over here real quick. Alright, let's see what's going on. Because it's not coming up. There we go. It's because it was windowed. I'm super quiet. Awesome. So it's alright. Thank you for calling that out, Zan. Muffin Man Zan. I like that. Let me see what I can do about that to make sure that doesn't become the... Is that any better? Well, unfortunately, it's probably just a limitation of my equipment at the moment. So let's compare it to some background volume in the game. How am I in comparison to the game volume? Okay. Well, I appreciate it. As long as the game's not drowning me out, then I'm gonna say we're gonna roll with it for now. I might have to... Let me think about this. Might be able to figure out a way to boost volume. Well, let me try one thing since you called it out. I wanna go ahead and try this. I don't believe I have that option. Let me check. Bring it all the way up to there. Might be the best I can do as far as right now. Oh, well, yeah, I can't help with your own personal volumes. I just assume that you're playing at a decent volume, but I appreciate the call nonetheless. Honestly, it's partially just this mic. It is getting old, and it's getting time for me to pick up a new one. So that'll be one of the few things I can actually put toward the stream here fairly quickly. So sadly, you're gonna probably pick up some of my microphone or my keyboard, but unfortunately, I don't think there's anything else we can do about that. Just checking a couple more spots where I might be able to boost my volume a little bit better, but okay, cool. Then we will go ahead and let that fly. Then this is actually not the account I'm going to be playing on today. So let me go ahead and quit game from here. We are going to start up a new profile because sadly I was a dingus and on multiple accounts multiple things have gone wrong with recording these streams, and I'm trying to compile a walkthrough or playthrough or so. I mean, not so much a walkthrough. Walkthroughs are a little more explanatory. This one's going to be more of a just a lore through, perhaps, if you'd rather. But either way, appreciate the call out for volume checks and trying to make things a little more clear to hopefully what would be the rest of the listeners that are also listening. So let's go ahead and hit new game this time. Alright, so we're just gonna go and just as a distinguishing, because all my freaking accounts are named this, we're gonna go ahead and just distinguish this one as RS. 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 That sounds kind of funny, actually. So we're gonna roll with it. That's good for that. We're gonna go with a female character, because you might as well see a female doing cool stuff. The gift, always, since we're gonna be making this, like I said, kind of a lore through slash playthrough slash walkthrough thing, we're gonna go ahead and use the master key. The main point is to always restarted. That's the only reason why. I could do effed up, but I think that would actually put me over the amount of characters that I've done. So I could just do that, actually. I like that idea too. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to name ourselves just Fume. And we're going to take the master key, because that is the most important part of the play, in my opinion, this playthrough, and making the game easier on yourself in almost every way. We're going to be slim. Standard slim. Face, I like the Astora, but you guys have anything you'd like to see specific? Chat, and for anyone watching on YouTube, I am also doing this on a stream, so keep that in mind if I'm talking to chat. But I think Astora Royalty looks like the best, other than Commoner. Commoner's just very round faced. Astora is king. Alright, Astora. Now we look at the hairstyles. I feel like straight B is the more realistic one. Straight A looks like a cone head, almost. But, yeah, it's either ponytail A or straight B. Commoner is peasanty. That's funny. Yeah, you know, this isn't going to matter that much. We'll just do the ponytail. Keep it simple. And do light brown, because it looks good. See, I already have a helmet on anyway, so. Anyway, we're going to look at class, and the main thing that's going to decide the class for us is the weapon that we're planning on pretty much making a speed run for right off the line. It's a weapon that, honestly, it's not a hard run. It's not... Too bad I can't have an afro. Tell me about it. Totally be the afro knight. But the idea behind this weapon is we're essentially going to push to an end game area. You're not going to kill anything. You'll see it on the stream in a second, or on screen in a second. But what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to pick a character that can almost wield the weapon at least two-handed from the start. And the hunter looks alright. The wanderer looks decent. Although, actually, after going through all of them, I think the warrior is the best bet. Cool thing about the warrior is I believe that is the heater shield. And it looks like it's just a regular longsword. But the heater shield will be really nice because it is a 100% defense shield, which means anything you block with this, as long as it's physical damage, will be negated. So you kind of just, you lose some stamina, but you don't take a hit. So this will actually get us, looks like, onto the dexterity mark we need to be at, and we'll be 3 levels away from being able to use the strength stat. So this will make it so you have to grind the least amount. So we're going to go ahead and do the warrior. And we got the master key, everything else is good to go. Looks like it. Alright, so what we're going to do next is, next thing I wanted to get in is I'm going to try to let all the playthroughs speak. So we're going to let them play.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire. And with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone scales. The witches weaved storms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
All right.
Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Alrighty. Am I gonna kill the Asylum Demon with the sword hilt? Yeah, I do want to. For everyone watching on YouTube, that essentially is a requirement to get the Asylum Demon's hammer. Admittedly, this character is not going to be using that weapon, so it's not like that's something I'm going to really bend over backwards to do. But we can give it a try. It's tough though. Just gonna get as many souls as we can on the way through here. But about that opening scene, essentially what you're seeing is the framework for the entire series. So as we go through, I'll kind of be able to touch on more and more of it as we see more and more of it develop in the game. But honestly, this game is probably one of my favorites, specifically for the lore behind it and thoughts that went into creating such a great game. Anywho, here we go. We will, since everyone wants to see us try, and knowing most players, they have tried this, just know this is not the way you're supposed to do the beginning. It's extremely tough on yourself to try to pull this off, and it's something that can easily be attainable through New Game Plus. Anyway, we walk forward, and down comes the Asylum Demon. Yeah, 246. Feels good. Oh my god, I slow roll. I don't like that. So let me see if I can hopefully not die while I do this. There we go. Nice try. Eventually, we'll get through this first chunk of health. I mean, yeah, this is going to be a painful process. This is not something new players should be doing. And if we do pull it off, I do not feel like this is a challenge. Oh, I took a hit. Yeah, that sucked. It's even harder because you don't have an Estus Flask yet. Gosh, even the heavy attack's only 2 points. See if you can get him off the wall a little bit. Go for some more consistent damage. Ooh, that was a direct hit. Forgot he backsteps it. Pretty good. A little bit of panic rolling there. Oh shit. Oh, I got hit by the stomp. That sucks. Yeah, you just do such minuscule damage your first time through that it's... Don't get me wrong, it's possible. I've seen it done, but I am not thinking I'm going to put the effort into it tonight. So, we're going to go ahead and sprint right past and do the game the way that it was intended to be done. I'm sure eventually I'll put a video out of me doing it with the broken hilt. And we'll see how well that can go. But anyway, this time we're going to rest to the bonfire, because that's one mechanic you got to remember about this. Anyway, so yeah, we tried it. We took about 1.5 bars down, and we got handed our butt on a silver platter, so we're going to go ahead and just proceed the way that we're supposed to. And since, like I said, this is more of a playthrough / walkthrough thing, I don't know. I'll come up with a better name for what I'm doing here eventually, but this is more so just so, like, if anyone comes late to the game, gets the Guess this edition, now that it goes on sale often and all that goodies, then they'll be able to kind of follow this along and kind of have an idea of how to take this game on. I mean, a lot of people have already done it, but honestly, I need the content for my YouTube channel, so, you know, why not start with something this good? And I'm going to honestly be pushing through all of the Dark Souls games. Just because I love them. I mean, honestly, Dark Souls is probably one of my favorite. I appreciate it, Zan, by the way. It was a valiant effort. I'll give myself that, but it's unfortunate that I couldn't actually pull it off. Anyway, be careful of that boulder, because they're gonna roll a boulder at you. And I will eventually learn how to open a door. But be careful of the boulder, they're gonna roll it at you. That thing will pretty much kill you. And in here we find the knight that dropped us the key to get out of our cell. And there's a little bit of speculation to be done. Like, the only way in this room is through the ceiling. And as you see, all the doors are pretty much barricaded. There's no other realistic way in here. The gates are all grated. We literally just busted a hole in the wall with the guy who rolled that giant ass boulder at us, or I don't know, giant cannonball or something. And kind of leads us to believe that since the asylum demon just came down off of the roof, chances are he was battling the asylum demon and failed, and now he's stuck here.
Oh, you. You're no Hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you? Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family: thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum, maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you. Now I must bid. I would hate to harm you after death. And thank you.
He just repeats himself. But yeah. He also gives you the Estus flask, and that, as you just heard, and yeah, I'm gonna get some souls here in a second. That is unfortunately the death of, I believe his name is Oscar. It's late, so I don't want to hold myself to that, but he is essentially the reason we can escape the Undead Asylum and try to carry out the pilgrimage to essentially, in a sense, save the world. I say in a sense because it kind of depends on how much you care to keep the world as it is. Oof. Yep, this weapon can't quite one-shot, so gotta keep that in mind. Even these little hollows are going to be a little difficult. But bear with us. Now let's see if I can do this. Nope. I am garbage at parrying. If you can get good at parrying, a lot of the game will become really easy for you. Like what I just did there, that was a parry. That is by essentially hitting the heavy attack. It's on the floor. If you read all these messages, they're all, like for me it says H while following plunging attack. That's just because I play on keyboard only, and all these things will be clear to you as you go through this Undead Asylum. Like I don't plan on going over the basics. Anyway, you just drop down and plunging attack. And it does a quarter of a health or a third of a health for you. Then you get flung by the hammer. Yeah, that sucked. Yeah, that really sucked. Like, really? I got stuck on a... And this is one of the reasons why I won't be going too in-depth into this game. Like, the gaps between each game are huge. The amount of progress they made in every step of the way, from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 3, is just so intense. So, if you like this first little bit of playthrough we do with Dark Souls 1, and you want to stick around to see my next project, the next one will be Dark Souls 2, and it'll follow up with Dark Souls 3, where I'm probably going to do the most of my work on Dark Souls 2 and 3, just because the mechanics are a little more ironed out. And I won't make as many silly mistakes as I do in this game, because this one, I mean, if you've played any of the newer games, you'll know that this game is extremely clunky, and what is allowed and what is not allowed by the player character, and simple things like, I mean, I've heard controller players don't have an issue with switching targets, but me, I cannot switch. Once I lock onto someone, it will not let me switch to another person. I have to unlock and relock and blah 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 blah. It's a pain in the butt. So this one is more so just for the enjoyment. You can kind of follow along if you wish to play the game in the same fashion I do, but it'll be Dark Souls 2 and 3 that I really go full bore with. And yeah, welcome to Dark Souls. Cooked by a pot, yeah. Essentially. One thing I'm going to do differently this time, just because the shield is so useless in this part, in my opinion. I'm really not an advocate of shields most of the time. This is the one game I do use a shield consistently in, but not this part. I'd rather two-hand, get some extra damage, because you can see how much damage we do compared to that hilt already. And if you just stay behind him, he kind of just spazzes out. And yeah, you get the Big Pilgrim's Key for defeating the Asylum Demon, as well as your first humanity. So let's go over here, pick up my souls that I have earned. And we continue on to the main portion of the game. So that's kind of the tutorial area. Escaping the asylum, and this is essentially where Dark Souls really begins. So you just pretty much go straight forward, and you get a cutscene.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Alright, now, funny note, this little, fun fact about me. First time I played this game, I could have swore, like, they didn't say Lordran. I heard, full honestly, I heard Lordland. And I was like, really? And it took an extra little bit of time, me going through the game and realizing that it's Lordran, not Lordland. But, yeah. Use subtitles, man. Subtitles are good. Anywho. We're gonna level up and look at our strength. We're gonna push strength 3 levels. That's perfect. Perfect. So, well, you can talk to this guy.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, not the first. But there's no celebration here. Even if done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are actually two bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land, the undead?
That's funny. Gotta love player messages. You will get the ability to start placing those once you get to Undeadburg. But yeah. Anyway, so the way we're gonna go. Sadly, I have 300 souls, no humanity. That's perfect, actually. This is about as good a situation as you can ask for to pull this off. So, admittedly, you're not gonna want to slow roll. So, unequip anything that's not like essential. For me, I think I'm gonna take the leather armor off. Should give me my fast roll back. Cool. So, just to recap, the Firelink Shrine they dropped you off is over there, pretty much right where that tree is in that big circular area. You're gonna come up into this area with a little pond in it, and avoid the crow that carries you here. And we're gonna go straight down here. Now these skeletons, these bits of bones, they come to life. Just run right on through them. Grab some soul items along the way, cause why not? And if you want, you can go right to grab the Zweihande, which I feel is a pretty good weapon, at least in the third game. I haven't really messed with it in the first game yet, just because we're gonna get a really overpowered weapon right from the start anyway. So those Zweihandes, not as required. Watch out for the flying skulls, they are dangerous. And drop down. Gonna hug this left wall. Continue to hug the left wall, and continue to hug the left wall. There's see this break in the wall. Watch out for the skeleton that's putting itself together. And do not mess with this bonfire. Like, do not mess with the bonfire. If you light it and you rest at it, then you're pretty much setting yourself up for a very, very hard time to get back. And you don't want to do that to yourself. So, anywho, now we come this way. That lever I hit pretty much just opens the door. Yeah, you guys aren't gonna be easy, are you? No? There we go. You sit here, just kind of time your blocks so you don't run out of stamina, and you will eventually trick them all to falling off. Now they don't die, so they do to survive, and yeah, keep that in mind if you ever come back here. But what we're aiming for is that ledge down there. We're pretty much just gonna roll and drop onto this ledge. And watch out for the skulls, because I didn't really time my drop well. They're gonna be chasing me. But once we're in here, you just go straight. Estus on up. This is essentially just a crypt. That's what you're kind of going through. All the skeletons didn't give that away, then I just did. But this is what we're aiming for after the fact. We gotta pass up this guy. This is a Titanite demon. He's probably the most intimidating thing you'll run across in this part of the game. Ooh, I survived. And once we set up, we just jump in the coffin and we wait. You hide from the Titanite demon. Anyway. From here you just wait, so yeah. How you guys doing today? Tonight, technically. There we go. And now we're gonna get essentially doing well myself. Thank you for asking. I'm happy to see you're doing well. But we're just essentially going to get carried down into what is known as the Tomb of the Giants. What is known as? It is the Tomb of the Giants. It's the location's name. But here we are. And a little bit of, something to see here. You remember the one of the guys who received the first Lord Souls was Grave Lord Nito. This is the Grave Lord's sarcophagus. So essentially what we're doing here is we are now going to enter his covenant. And that gives us the Grave Lord Sword and the Miracle Grave Lord Sword Dance. Now, the sword, awesome. The Miracle, not so great. So, I'm not sure if I haven't actually done a whole lot of testing with it, but it takes a day and a half to cast and is not very strong, at least in my opinion. So, we're going to go ahead and leave. And since we chose this character the way we did, we're going to go ahead and equip the Grave Lord Sword. I can now two-hand that. Yeah, chat's just kind of saying how they didn't know you could get down here this early. It's possible. It's a little scummy, honestly. It turns a lot of the game easy, but I mean that's probably why you're watching a walkthrough or a playthrough of this anyway. So take it easy on yourself. Enjoy the game for what it is, not necessarily the challenge of it. And the sword will do a lot of the work for you, but not all of the work for you. So keep that in mind as well. It's not like sword breaks game, but you still need to, have your timing and be able to do a couple of things. You have to have a little bit of experience to get through the game, but that said, the sword will do a lot of work. So now we could try and reach a lower area with an armor. We'll see if I survive the Titanite demon, who's going to be very mad at me. Nope. But that's okay. Honestly, that kind of stuff happens. You're actually kind of hoping to die at this point because it's going to fast travel you right back up to the Firelink Shrine, and you'll be now ready to take on the rest of the game from this point. So you do notice that I undressed pretty much my character completely. That is because of the carry weight limitations. You can only have 25% of 52 pounds. So let's see if I can get away with putting on. Yeah, like even the helmet is just too much. So even the gloves would be too much. So yeah, you just kind of have to, bear with it. But you get the fast roll, and that's kind of what you do it for. Now, one thing you're going to want to do a lot and remember a lot is the fact that you are now using a great sword early game. So what that essentially means is your reach is going to outdo the reach of almost every enemy you come up against. Especially these guys with axes. They can't do anything to you, realistically. And there's my camera locking on awfully again. But now we are on our way to the Undead Bird, which is essentially the first area the game was intending you to go. So we're just gonna scurry our butts a little ways over. Go ahead and head up, and here we are. Again, you see how much distance I gave myself. There's no way he's going to hit me from that length, but I easily hit him. So that's kind of the way you want to play this part of the game now, because, oh yes, but don't make mistakes like I do, because I will forget. Certain enemies get fire bombs, and just literally their only purpose in this game is to sit back and throw fire bombs at you, so. Yeah, chat's telling me herp derp, so yeah, that was not my finest moment. Just standing tall and getting the smackdown handed to me. Oh well. Over here, there's going to be an ambush. These guys come up over. Oh my god. Yep. Should pay attention, not just talk too much. Yep, he's going to spaz out. Let him spaz out. I missed the stairway. There it is. Up here we have a soul item, which we may. I mean, I'm honestly usually a person who would save a lot of soul items, just so that like when you're at a point in the game where you get a bonfire and you have a bunch of souls on you, then you have the option to kind of like, okay, well this would be a good time to use a soul item because you'll be able to level up now rather than risk going through another area and possibly losing those souls, which is just, honestly, it's part of the game. You're gonna lose souls. So, anyway, rubbish. I don't recall, but I'm gonna have to look at this in a minute, but I believe what I'm actually going to do real quick is I'm going to fix one thing so that it's a little more fun and interactive for everyone watching. Just bear with me a second. We're going to turn this on and adjust it to here-ish. Yeah, it looks good. Anyway, now the chat will pop up on screen while we go, so everyone watching on YouTube will kind of understand who I'm talking to and why I'm talking the way I am. Let me go ahead and fix this back to full screen. But yeah, so. Oh, hello there, sir. Where did you come from? Anyway, now we're gonna go ahead and move forward. There's nothing in that room. We'll go in there in a second. You'll see how. But we're essentially gonna get on top of the building we're in and jump into that room from the upper floors. Now, you may think it's here. This is not where you can jump. You cannot make that jump. It will not work. I have tried for a very long time. Watch out for the dragon. Yep, that sucked, because my advance literally matched his advance, and we hit each other, so feels good about that. Oh yeah, and occasionally you'll get an enemy that has better hops than most people you'll ever see in life. These hollows, man. They work them legs. And you see right there, that is a Gravelord's servant. Summon sign. That's the word I'm looking for. And essentially that is. Actually, you know, I'm not entirely certain. I haven't played it in this game, and in the old game, it didn't seem like it did anything. It was supposed to cause disasters in nearby worlds. And occasionally you'll see a sign come up saying, Gravelord Servant defeated. But honestly, it's something I'm going to have to make a note of and touch back with you guys when I look up how the mechanic is supposed to work, and if it was fixed in the Remastered Edition. I don't know if it was. I see a lot of people using it lately, so it might actually be fixed, or they're just grinding the Covenant, because, I mean, that is something you want to do as you play this game, so. Alrighty, so what we got now?
Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls.
This guy's essentially a nut, hollow, who's barely holding on to his hollow humanity, and yeah, he's a merchant, so you can look at what he has to offer. I do pick up a few things from this guy, like the orange sign, some stone's kind of nice if you're looking to, like, you know, help people out or be on the flip side of the coin and troll people. But I don't see anything that's going to be... We'll grab the residence key now just to get it over with. We're going to want the bottomless box, because it'll just keep your inventory a lot cleaner. We have armor, we have a shield, so everything else in here you kind of can just pass up on.
Thank you kindly.
If you're a completionist, which I already have done this, so, you know, if you're a completionist, buy everything he has. Certain items you can't get elsewhere. But if you don't care to be a completionist to get one of every item, as I don't believe there is a achievement for it, don't hold me to that, I'll have to double check and make a note of that, but that was smart. There we go. And as you see, the Gravelord sword, this is kind of a joke for this sword, but it's going to literally one-shot everything you go and run into at this point in the game, even unleveled. So, I definitely recommend picking it up, and it seemed like, I mean, I did mess up once, so I had to kill the entire asylum area twice to get the levels to do it, but it seemed like as soon as I left the asylum, the undead asylum, I had enough to get to the point where I could two-hand and wield it, so definitely worth the effort if you want to go for that quick sprint at the beginning of the game, so. Yeah, as the chat's shown, essentially like stuff like try jumping and stuff like that are the trolls in the world try. And sometimes they're being honest people, but most of the time when you see a message telling you to try jumping, someone's just waiting for your blood sign to show up because it's gonna kill you, and they're just sitting back laughing every time a blood sign shows up next to their message because they know they got you. So try jumping at your own risk. So chat says there actually is an achievement for getting every rare weapon, whatever that entails. So there is an achievement for getting all rare weapons. I doubt the shopkeeper is giving away or selling rare weapons. He might be, but I doubt it. So one thing you can do about the shopkeeper, and I'm going to do it for this playthrough just to show it off, but if you just come up and you kill the shopkeeper with 2 hits, you get not only the dried finger, the orange soapstone, and a humanity, but you'll also get the Uchi Katana, which is a unique weapon to him, and you won't be able to get it without killing him anyway, so there you have that. You know, in retrospect, I probably should have bought a few throwing knives off of him, but, you know, live and learn. Anyway, now we arrive at our first bonfire. Chat's saying his katana might count, so, you know, yeah, as far as rare weapons, if you're achievement hunting, kill the shopkeeper, I guess, but honestly, it's... we're short. Okay. Honestly, it's probably better to pick up a few throwing knives at the very least, just because there are certain things you can do with throwing knives that we're going to explore in just a few minutes, because this area, I'm probably going to run around and do a little farming of souls, just because one of your first goals is going to be to get to the point where you can one-hand this weapon, just to make your life a little easier. You don't have to worry about switching and then two-handing and, you know, switching back to block and all that goodies. So anyway, so we're gonna cross the bridge, and we're gonna see two hollows. There's gonna be a hollow soldier coming in behind me, and that is why, right there, that is why you want to get to the point where you can one-hand this weapon as fast as humanly possible, because you will make mistakes like I just did, thinking that I could swing it without any issue, and I definitely had many issues. So, we'll not do that again. Don't get too frustrated at the game and, oh my god, I did it again. There we go. He's gonna go nuts and come after me now. So we'll just go ahead and take him on. And finish him off. Well, that sucked. I just lost humanity on the bloodstain. So everything that was on that bloodstain, one of the mechanics I will go over is everything on that bloodstain was everything you died with, and if you die without collecting your bloodstain, there is officially no way to get that stuff back. So, you know, quality gameplay here, you know, just gonna make a few mistakes. It's late, honestly. Probably shouldn't be making a video. I might even just voice over this, but we will see how I feel when I'm actually reviewing the footage. So anyway, we're going to watch out for that guy because he's now coming at us. Wow. Feels... It's late. Anyway, third time's the charm. We're gonna cross the bridge into the room with the hollows. As you can see, this is one of those moments where it's like they kind of throw a mob at you, and my camera doesn't like to switch targets, so I just kind of have to make do with what I got. Which entails sometimes taking a little bit of damage, so. Hopefully if you're playing on controller, you don't have that same issue. We get some fire bombs in there. Kill this guy for the souls, because, you know, why not? And come up here, and now we got a bunch of nuts that want to just, you know, kill you. But you just sit outside of their range, mostly their range, and for the most part you'll be able to just let them attack, and then you'll counterattack, and you'll actually get extra damage points for it, because counterattacking in this game are a great way to get, you know, just free damage. Extra free damage, that is. Gosh, I hate these guys. I should probably just heal. Bite the bullet and heal. There we go. I love the collision on this game. I can't climb this, really? Can't jump this either. Oh shit. There we go. So don't fall in there, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get out. And we're going to go ahead and come back down around. We have 1,400 souls. That should be good enough to give us a little more equip load, which means we can probably apply a little bit of armor. As far as what I'm talking about there, I'm actually just going to run back to the bonfire and level up really quickly. I always recommend, if you get the souls on you, then take a minute and level up. It's always worth it. So we got strength, dex, what's going to endurance for 1 level. And then we're going to be pretty much trying to hardline ourselves to the point where we can start using the sword one-handed, so just kind of keep that in mind. That is your goal early game when you're trying to do a run through with this weapon, so. Ironically, I think I have another level up now, but we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to go ahead and get hit. Roll through. Or not. It's gonna look, yeah. So at this point, I'm honestly feeling like I don't play this game quite well enough to do a quote-unquote walkthrough, so what I'm probably gonna do is just a playthrough. Because I literally got hit by every attack. Yep. So, I might rage every once in a while. I don't rage easy. I will say that, but this is a game that even gets me to rage. And be ready to rage, because I literally just lost everything there. Had about 1,000 souls. And I will not make this probably look easy. It is easier than I'm making it look, I promise. The fact that the sword literally one-shots everything it touches, it really does make it easier. It's just you gotta have a little more patience than I currently do. And be able to see those openings. Literally just about one-shot everything in the room with one swing, so. Now we're playing for real, I swear. Anyway. As far as this first area, Undeadburg, it's kind of just a prep area. You kind of like learn your mechanics, how everything works throughout the game. There's not much lore behind it, sadly. It's not a very specific area. There's no real landmarks. Even the boss is kind of just as you'll see later in the game, the boss is just a common enemy. You may not see him for a while, but he is just a common enemy. And a lot of the entry areas of this game are kind of like that, so. And, of course, feel free to laugh at the chat that's laughing at me, because I can't seem to kill 3 hollows. So. And we'll continue to die the same 3 hollows multiple times. But, I promise it will be better by Dark Souls 2. The mechanics are so leaned out. For example, when you're targeting like I am now, you can actually jump to the front right, where right now, even though I hit, for example, for me it would be W and D on the keyboard, it should be a diagonal front right, like this. If I'm target locked, I can run that way, but I can't jump that way. It'll jump me forward every time. It'll make me do this in 45 and jump right into him, so stuff like that goes away in the second and third games, and it just, honestly, little things like that are things that I got so used to and accustomed to that coming back to this one, I am not good, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who feels this way. It's kind of unfortunate that they really, I mean, they added some cool stuff, some quality of life stuff, kind of like, for example, things don't automatically equip to your usage wheel, so if I were to like hit this button down here, even though I picked up throwing knives, they're not equipped to me right now, and that is something the original game used to do to you. As soon as you picked something up, it was essentially on your quick wheel. So, anyway. first challenge you're going to run into, and you don't even have to do this. This is honestly an optional, but I like to do it because there's a chance he'll drop his sword, and I've had a lot of luck with the sword lately, so we're going to go ahead and miss the backstab. But as you see, this sword does most of the work for you. I don't recommend fighting him in this small area. In fact, usually he will follow you all the way back to an opener, a more open area, such as this. And this is a much easier spot to fight him in if you're going to fight him. But the Gravelord sword does a lot of your work for you with this guy. And he's dead. Did give me a sword, but he gave me the Titanite chunk that will come in handy later on. Watch out here. See that barrel? This guy's going to light it on fire, roll it at you. So you get out of the way of that. Stabby, stabby. Yeah, even chat's saying they missed the 8 directional dodges too. So I'm definitely not alone on that. I definitely know where my man Zan is coming from there, because it's hard to let it go. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and run down the tower, and that is going to lead us to this guy. This guy is Hovel, and he's actually the only thing, one of the only things. The Black Knight had some lore, and I could get into that, but they're all over the place. But this guy actually has some decent lore about him, so we will go into that. So, Hovel is essentially a dragon knight. He slayed dragons. He had pretty much a complete hate for dragons, and one of the things that we're going to come across later on is eventually we're going to find his armor. Excuse me. Actually, I'm doing this the hard way. There's actually an easier way to take on Hovel, which is to kite him over here, wait for him to attack, and counterattack. And then just enter the tower, and he'll kite back to you. He'll do a slam. You move up, do your little counterattack, and he'll back up. It's just a way to kind of abuse the AI in this game. But as you see, like this method of killing Hovel is much easier than what I was trying to accomplish earlier just a second ago. Ooh, that was a close one. That's Hovel dead. Now, what this guy's going to drop is Hovel's ring, which is the main reason you want to take it on. It's also the first reason why you want to grab the master key. So, definitely worth keeping that in mind. We're going to go in, and we're actually going to equip it, because it'll allow us to probably put something on in the way of maybe just even pants, while keeping our fast roll. Yep, so there we go. Got a little armor out of it. His ring, what the effect of it is it gives you 50% more equip load. So whatever your current equip load is, it essentially multiplies it by 1.5, and that becomes your new equip load, and it becomes a lot easier to wear heavier armors without fat rolling or the medium roll, and keep the ultra roll. So definitely worth getting. It's the first reason why you really want to grab that whatchamacallit, the master key as a burial gift. So anyway, now we're going to go ahead, climb up this tower right behind the door. There's a little ladder. That's the white wall we came through. The reason you're doing this is to kill these 2 archers, because these guys will just honestly troll you the entire fight. So now that they're dead, we can now take on the boss. Now, one little trick to this boss, and it's honestly another thing where the sword is just ridiculously overpowered. Alright, this guy comes down, he is the Taurus Demon. And I'm not going to get into, I know I kind of trailed into how Hovel has a cool, juicy storyline, but I'm honestly not going to get into that just yet. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till we get to In Orlando, because that's where you kind of, a little bit of the evidence to what I believe happens becomes relevant. But as you see, a plunging attack to the Tauros Demon, and he's pretty much dead. We just one hit, and he's done. So there is a reason to doing the game the way I've suggested. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I just suck at this game. So yeah. First boss soul, or not boss soul. These guys don't drop boss souls, but you know, first boss, like a legitimate boss, down. And even then, I really wouldn't call him a legitimate boss. He's a pretty illegitimate boss. He is just a common enemy you're going to find later on in the game, regularly across an area. So just know that you don't have to do it for a while. So take solace in that. Now, this guy down here is probably one of the Dark Souls favorites, and his name is Solaire. Let's just talk to him.
Ah, hello. You don't look hollow, far from it. I am Solaire of Astora, an adherent of the Lord of Sunlight. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land, the birthplace of Lord Gwyn, to seek my very own son. You find that strange? Well, it should. No need to hide the reaction. I get that look all the time. Oh, aha. So I didn't scare you. I have a proposition, if you have a moment. The way I
Always
see
say
it,
yes.
our fates appear to be intertwined. In a land brimming with hollows, could that really be mere chance? So what do you say? Why not help one another on this lonely journey? It pleases me greatly. Well then, take this.
He gives you the White Slime
We are
Soapstone.
amidst strange beings in a strange land. The flow of time itself is convoluted, with heroes centuries old phasing in and out. The very fabric wavers, and relations shift and obscure. There's no telling how much longer your world and mine will remain in flux. Use this to summon one another as spirits, cross the gaps between the worlds, and engage in jolly cooperation. Of course, we are not the only ones engaged in this, but I am a warrior of the sun. Spot my summon signature easily by its brilliant aura. If you miss it, you must be blind.
And it just dawned on me, the only reason you'd miss it is if you actually look at your character before you have humanity, you technically don't have eyes. So he's kind of hinting at the fact that you need to be human to summon him hence, and a lot of people forget that. It is a mechanic in the game that you cannot summon someone in unless you are human. So just a little tidbit of information now. Right here, we're about to see that dragon, the big red dragon. He's going to fly in behind us and burn the bridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our best to get out of his way, but I did not. I literally got right on the edge of where I needed to be. We're going to come back up. Try to get him to... This is weird. He usually breathes fire. Let me see if I come back up again. No, I guess he's not going to this time. Just not going to cooperate. We'll look around. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and grab the shortcut. So just go down the stairs, and in this little corner room, you kind of miss it because of the same colored texture walls, but kick down the ladder, and this is actually going to be a ladder that leads us right back to the original bonfire that we just left a few minutes ago to go fight the boss. So go ahead and rest up here, grab a couple level ups for me. Aww. 23. Bane of my existence. How close are we? That's kind of funny. We're gonna go kill one guy. And now you can one-hand it, so this is going to make my life a lot easier. And as you see, it doesn't take that much to get this sword up and running and prepped and ready to go for you, so. Now we can shield and swing at the same time. But next big goal we're going for, we're going to grab him, get him to burn the bridge for us. Be careful when you do that, and let me just check chat for a second. Oh yeah, tell me about it. It's honestly something that took a while for the dawn on me, but yeah, like when you look at your character, you don't have eyes, and to refresh, chat had brought up the fact that essentially what I was talking about with Solaire and how you must be blind, and the whole thing I recognized with hollows being essentially eyeless. But yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a fun fact. I don't know if there's actually any legitimate, like that's what they intended or not, but it's something I noticed. Anyway, we're going to go ahead, and this is how we get the dragon tail, so, or the dragon sword, drake sword. So, we're going to head back up. He's going to light the bridge on fire, but if you come up here to the left, you're actually in a safe spot. You're just going to let the flames extinguish, and they will. They just take a second. And you're going to aim up. Camera kind of aims your shot, so just kind of keep that in mind. Going to tag him once, get him mad. 2 hits. That's the Drake sword. We're not going to grab the other item. He's going to be... Aww. We couldn't get away. Well, we'll give this another run. But we got the Drake sword. That was what we were doing this for. And it is rather easy. And the main thing about the Drake sword is it's another sword. It has a little bit shorter of a blade. It's I think the same size as a long sword, or perhaps a short sword. And yeah, he did in fact just show me. But honestly, it's kind of funny because I have seen one thing happen with this part where we got the Drake to come down onto the bridge, and while he was on the bridge, he ended up jumping off the bridge and pretty much killing himself. So it was something I actually haven't seen before. Oh, that gets his attention. All right. Now what your goal is to pass this up and go to the right. You'll end up in this little courtyard. From here, he's going to realize you've gotten past him. He's going to fly back up on top of the castle, and then he's going to fly away. So, he goes away for a little while. And you're kind of given a moment to come back out and just grab all the loot that you had to run by. And then we're going to go ahead and open up this gate and get a shortcut to the next area. So we're actually going to go ahead and rest at the bonfire and possibly level up. Nope, can't level up. Not enough souls. But go ahead and rest at the bonfire. And this spot right here, this is actually the Sunlight Covenant. Yeah, it was pretty goofy to hear the green creature die of falling off of a bridge, especially. Had time to fly, just didn't. But this is the Sunlight Covenant altar, and there's a lot of awesome lore behind this as well. That has to do with the third game. And in this game, you kind of see better what I will end up referencing in the third game. In the third game, the statue is holding a standard sword spear, and this game it's holding, or a standard dragon slayer spear, and this one he's holding a sword spear. So a little bit of foreshadowing about the third game when we get there. I'll probably bring up this footage and reference it again. Just be ready for it. It's going to be a ways off, but when it happens, it'll be awesome. Anyway, next thing on my list of things to do, in my opinion, next good thing to do would be to take down the Black Knight, hiding at the top of this tower. You should also kindle your bonfires. Honestly, I don't feel like I need to just yet. I don't need more than 5 Estus to make it through most of these areas. This sword just does so well, it allows you to kind of... That was goofy. I came up way too quick. On that guy, you want to use the walking that you can do instead of sprinting at him, because he'll hear you, he'll turn around, he'll be upset, and he'll chase you all the way down here, and he'll do that to you. I luckily got a backstab on him and can back off a little further. Hopefully give myself a moment to heal. Yep, got away with it. Another backstab. Should be the end of that guy. Another Titanite chunk. So, awesome. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just take this guy out. Now, the cool thing about this blade is even though they're blocking with a 100% resistance shield, this blade does a buttload of poison, and it may not matter against PvE enemies, but PvP enemies, as long as they're not using... Oh, jeez, there's the boar. Yeah, like I said, I am good at this game. I just kind of suck at this game at the same time. Anyway, this guy's weak spot, right in the tuchus. One hit from the sword takes him down, so, you know, again, just get the sword in the beginning. It's so worth it. Now, we don't need to go up here to kill these two, but I'm going to just because they always upset me. They're just in the way and trying to cause problems. I don't like things that cause problems. Although one fell off, so. Yeah, that's another thing. You can't change your direction when falling in this version, which you can do in, I believe, the second and third game. So, anyway, next goal is to open this gate. To that, you have to go down here. Just 1 second, just noticing something's going on with my streaming software. I'm going to double check to make sure it's working correctly at the moment. There we go. Yeah, so hopefully that didn't drop for you guys. If it did, I apologize. Just go ahead and go through here, kill everybody. You're going to want this key that we're coming up on. No, you haven't seen a drop? Alright, good to know. Good to know. Just want to make sure. Anyway, so now we are, essentially, this is going to lead us to the bridge above the two archers that I just eliminated. As you can see, I didn't grab that item, but it's just alluring skulls, and I don't really know of a reason to use them just yet, so we'll sneak up on this guy, and a heavy attack should be a one-shot. Yes, it is. This will drop us the Knight Shield, which, let's go ahead and look at that, see if it's any lighter than this one. This one's only 2 pounds, so no. This one is pretty dang good, honestly. The Heater Shield, it's sold by the undead merchant I killed in the beginning of the game. His shield is definitely worth looking at if you're going to be wanting a shield, and I certainly recommend using a shield in this game. This is probably the only Dark Souls that I really, truly recommend using a shield in. So this might be the end of me. Ha! Worked out of it. Now this is one of the only enemies in the game that actually has reached the that can be yours, so be aware of that. The whole let him attack and then attack thing won't work, because you'll have to be too far away. Anyway, now we come down this way. Kill the hollow that locked us out. Yeah, PvP is definitely one of the only places you'll see they use the Alluring Skulls, because what the Alluring Skull will do is draw enemies in the world you're in to the skull. So, as a world host, someone getting invaded, it's not so great. But as an invader, it's a great way to get the world host's enemies to attack him, because world host enemies, or the enemies in the world you're invading, will not attack you. So you're safe from them. You just have to worry about the world host themselves killing you. But technically, you're assuming the side of the world host's enemies. So they can't hit you, they can't do anything to you, for the most part. There are a few that are exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, you're pretty much free and clear to get away from them. Anyway, and finally we have the Elite Knight, who's, honestly, his shield reminds me a lot of Reem's, the Fume Knight in the second game. This guy you can't backstab, but it's still safe to be behind him to do your attacking. And he drops you a Titanite shard, so you'll feel good for that. This over here, this item is a Firekeeper Soul, and that is what is going to be used to upgrade your Estus Flask. And upgrades on the Estus Flask, what they will do is essentially make it so the flask itself gives you more health. So anyway, now that we're here, we're going to go ahead and step off the lift a little early. That's one thing that Dark Souls has always loved to do, is these roll-off puzzles with the ladders and the lifts and all that goodies. There's usually, almost every lift you go on, be sure to, like, you know, look around as you're on it, because chances are there's a secret little passage somewhere on it. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump and do the roll. Now you just have to get used to the timing of that. I'm actually kind of surprised I pulled it off first try, but you could probably also do the jump, an actual jump to get to it, but I don't know. I never feel like I have good enough timing to do that. I actually kind of am just surprised that I pulled that off. Wow. Remastered. Yep. See the sunlight outside the normal sun. That's actually kind of funny to see. But let's jump back this way. Soul of the Last Undead. We'll go back up the lift. And we'll grab a couple last items. And then we'll go back to the Firelink Shrine's bonfire. And this will probably be the end of episode 1. I'm going to have to priority trim quite a bit off of it because it's looking like it's about an hour long of a playthrough, and that's a little unacceptable. I could see about 30 minutes. So we'll try to trim it down to 30 minutes for the YouTube video if anyone's watching this. I'm sorry if it didn't get trimmed down quite enough, or hopefully I accomplished what I was going for there, and I did in fact trim it down to 30 minutes. But anywho, we're going to go ahead and drop back down. This is the crypt where we got Gravelord Nito's sword, or the Gravelord sword. We're just going to go ahead and book it, because we really don't want to deal with skeletons. Although they're not totally hard, they aren't the funnest things in the world at this point in the game. They don't drop much souls, they're a very weak enemy, so resting at a bonfire while you're being chased will actually reset enemy position and you'll be safe. So just keep that in mind. Could save your life. So we're going to go ahead and do endurance further. See, I kind of want to... I'll get me my first attunement slot. I just need 3 points into faith. See, the reason for that is eventually we'll be at a point where we can use that attunement slot for a heal spell, and it's just an extra heal. I mean, it's not totally needed, but it's not a useless idea either. Like clerics, I'm not so sure about the first game, but in the second game and in the third game, clerics are some of the most overpowered characters you can kind of aspire to be. Anyway. Yeah, as the chat's saying, clerics are overpowered, OP. So, if you never tried it before, give it a shot. It might be something that you like to do, and can definitely catch people off guard. I mean, another item that we just received is the Lloyd's Talisman, and what that does is it stops players from being able to use their Estus. So essentially it's a way that an invader can throw one of these talismans at you and keep you from being able to heal. But in the same respect, you can now do that to invaders, and they can't use their Estus to heal, so it goes both ways. But the cool thing about being a cleric is even if as the chat's saying, it's pretty fun to throw lightning at your enemies too. And I agree with that, but even if you're Lloyd Talisman and you can't use your Estus Flask, being a cleric will still allow you to heal with other means, so you don't need your Estus Flask 100% of the time. So always worth that little shout out to clerics. Clerics are really strong. Anyway, this guy is Andre the Blacksmith, and he's an awesome character. Anyway, so now that we're here, we can learn his gesture. Hurrah. And we can purchase items, of which the first thing we're going to look at purchasing as soon as we can will be the smith box, the armor box, and the repair box. The main one you're going to worry about is the repair box, because that is the one that'll allow you to fix your weapons as you go along. But next thing we're going to do, just because I have pulled this off before, just kidding, I didn't rest at the bonfire. I don't want to have to make the trek back up here, so what we're going to first do is rest at the bonfire, and then we're going to go down and take on the Titanite Demon. Again, this is something I do. It's not something I'd necessarily recommend anyone do, but if you can pull it off, then it actually gives you the Titanite, Demon Titanite, that you'll need to level up your Gravelord sword. What this guy essentially is a skill check. You really shouldn't go to the next area unless you can kill this guy. And even then, with this sword, don't think you can just traipse across the next area. It probably will get you killed. we go. Demon Titanite down. Or Titanite Demon down. He drops Demon Titanite. Slayer mode activate. Exactly. Anyway, sadly, he didn't drop me enough souls to actually make use of that Titanite skill, so we're going to have to just chug along without the upgrade for now. But we can also, really quickly, before we wrap up this little bit, I think what we'll do is we will take on the gargoyles. We're about an hour and 40 minutes into the stream. Anyway, let's just talk to the Katarina Knight.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegmeyer of Katarina. Quite honestly, I run flat up against the wall, or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, but I waited. So here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak. Still closed. Still closed.
I love the Onion Knight. That's what the community's kind of grown to calling him, is the Onion Knight, just due to his armor. But and like the chat said. But yeah, he's an awesome character. He actually has another Katarina Knight that comes into the game in the third game, who is, again, he has a storyline that you're following and you're gonna help him through. It's awesome. But as you can hear, and honestly, you'll get tired of me talking about the third game while I'm playing the first game, but it's just the fact that I love the third game. I love the first game for its lore and how it's set such a great framework for the rest of them, but the third game is honestly my favorite. Might get chastised for that, but oh well. Anyway, so we're here. Let's go ahead and the next thing I want to do is Faith. To get that up to 12, it will allow us to use the regular heal spell. And hopefully, after this next fight we're taking on, we can do the level up on the weapon. But we'll just have to see. Hopefully we get this done in the next 10-ish minutes, because that's about how much time we got left for the stream. If not, we may just take on the gargoyles tomorrow on the next stream, which sadly, for anyone watching who isn't in the chat, this is not my normal streaming time. I normally stream 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard most days, so go ahead and one-shot this guy. If you don't see me on at this time, it's just because this is kind of a weird night where I decided to jump on and get some recording in. That trident hits like a truck. Don't sit here thinking you have to take these guys on in the tight corridor. It's literally just there to kill you. Fight in an area you're comfortable. I love their dance. I have to say it. I love their dance. Kind of wish he dropped me his trident, because if you get his trident, you too can dance. Like the channelers. But only if you're lucky enough. Balloompa dance. And we're gonna head up here. Yeah, grab this item over here. I think it's just a humanity. But then again, you know, to say just a humanity isn't quite right, because humanity is kind of a finite item until you get to the later part of the game. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and sadly unlock this guy. He's gonna cause problems for you, but it's necessary.
Then I am in luck. As you can see, I am stuck without a course. I am Knight Lautrec of Career. I truly appreciate this, and I guarantee a reward. Only later. Yes, very sorry. I've just been freed.
Ugh. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure he is the one that will end up, in the end, dropping you the Ring of Favor, and that is going to be one of the rings that you just learn to love in this game, because it's one of the only rings that can boost your stamina, as well as your equip load and health. So, very strong ring, very worth it. Anyway, we're going to finish up here at the Gargoyles as the last moment. This will probably get split into 2 episodes. Probably just do voice over the first part and move on to the second. And probably just do the second like this. But anyway. I'm going to put my shield away. Don't need it for this fight. Let's go ahead and take these bad boys on and ring the first bell of awakening that was talked of in the beginning of the game. Yep. Hopefully this goes smoothly and I can just pull it off first try. We'll have to see. Oh my god, it's just gonna be a pain in the butt. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start this over because I don't think I've done enough damage to him to take his tail off. So, it's the downside of the Gravelord sword is it's hard to actually get hits where you necessarily want them quickly because he has a longer windup to actually swing. So we'll see how well this goes on the second try. It's not that I died, of course, I boned out, but it was necessary just because we don't want to miss out on that weapon. It's not, I don't think it's a very good weapon. You cuck. But it is a weapon nonetheless, and we'll go ahead and read the description on it because honestly I don't believe there's much lore behind those guys, but we will definitely look in case I'm wrong. You know, just panic roll your way through these undead hollows. Yeah, chat just said it was a decent weapon for PvP, so you know. I guess it does have. Oh god. Yeah. It knows the reason I left was to take his tail off. And now it's just going to use his tail as many times as it possibly can. Oh, well, that sucked. Anyway, take 3. Yeah, no, fuck it. Slow golf clap. Yeah, I know, right? Just slow clap me there. Thank you so much. Literally everything just gets a couple licks in on me, so, you know, feels good for that. Okay, we'll just go ahead and max health. It's just getting the tail is the hard part, honestly. Welcome to the stream, whoever just joined. I appreciate the views. Hopefully you have a good time. There we go. Good solid hit on the tail. And there's the tail axe. Just screams. Oh! Took my tail. And there we go. Oh, what do you know? I got the gargoyle helm. I don't think I got that last time. And thank you, chat, for showing me the cliff. Yes, the cliff. The cliff was not fun. And victory. Heck to the yeah, man. Ah, so chat just confirms that it is a rare drop for this early in the, just early in the game, so we will rejoice in the fact that this account has gotten a rare drop, so. The gargoyle helm, we'll look at it, see if it's even worth using. We may throw it on just for S&Gs, but, I don't know. A lot of this early game stuff, like the axe, I mean, it's good, supposedly it's good for PvP, but I don't think I'd use it myself. But either way, that is the first Bell of Awakening rung. Also, welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream, whoever just joined. Hope you can get comfortable and enjoy the stream. Feel free to chat it up. I try to keep a pretty close eye on the chat, so. Or just, you know, laugh at me. Keep it quiet, keep it to yourself. I'm always good. Either way. So we talked to Oswald. Yes. We'll learn his gesture. And, well, don't think I need anything from him. I mean, it would be nice to get the poison bite ring, but it's expensive AF. I don't want to put 15,000 souls into that myself, so we're just gonna say no to that and make our way back down to Andre's bonfire. That's funny. These guys are still charging at me from. Oh my god. I'm waiting for it. I want to hear it. Let me hear the chat say it. Longer slow clap. There it is. See, I think I'm just gonna get smart about this. Should have probably done this a long time ago. But skipping these guys is what killed me last time. We're not gonna do it again. We're gonna get back up there and pick up all those souls that I just got, because that's a lot of souls this early game. There we go. The Drake Sword doing some lifting for me. Let's go ahead and funnel some of these guys in. See, this sword, if I just switch swords, this sword makes the area so easy. I'll have to make this a real point. A point to be made, I should say, during the YouTube clip that I'm making out of this. Because holy crap, did this not go well. Yes, the legendary broken straight sword. We all know what that's going toward, and if you don't know, then you will soon find out, because it's honestly one of the reasons that drove me. It was the final nail in the coffin that drove me to get the first game again in the remastered edition. And yeah, we'll see why. It's beautiful. Alright, also, we wanted to look at that, so let's go ahead and pull it out. Yeah, we can rock it. Keep our fast roll, just Nito's greatsword put over, so nope, we're rocking it. We are the gargoyle. Alright, we're gonna do a couple level ups, see if I can get 2. Yep, probably able to do a third one, in fact. Yeah, we can do that, and still have enough to run down here, talk to our man, Andre.
You seem to be doing all right.
Oh, but now I'm at a crossroads. You know what, we're first gonna reinforce weapon, and we're gonna take the Gravelord sword 2+1. And we're going to repair equipment, because, yeah, the Drake sword took a beating.
Come get yourself.
And we're going to go ahead and actually, before I forget, we're going to go and farm a few hundred souls, just so that I can have the repair box, because nothing sucks more than being halfway through an area and forgetting to repair your equipment, and having something break, or something important break on you. halfway through the area, so. There we go, grab this guy's attention. Draw him forward. Oh, pretty sure he was gonna parry me. Thank God I got him before he could. Yep, as chat said, one of the quotes from Andre, if you talk to him, is your weapons will never betray you, so you should show them some respect. And essentially, that is what I'm doing. Sadly, in this game, it does require souls to repair stuff at bonfires, which happily is eliminated from the later games. But we'll get there when we get there. Dark Souls 2 is next on the list.
Well, you need anything? Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
Alrighty, well, at that point we are on to the depths. Or, realistically, we don't even have to do the depths. The only reason to do the depths is for the levels and the souls that we'll be getting out of it. But in all honesty, the depths aren't all that necessary. It's just... especially since we have the Master Key, is what I'm essentially saying. The Master Key is going to come in handy again here pretty quickly. And it'll be how we get to... what's the name of it? Blight Town, or should I say the base of Blight Town, because that is, as the first dude we talked to of the Shrine Bonfire has told us, is where the second Bell of Awakening is. So yeah, the Master Key honestly is it is the one to go for if you're ever gonna go for a yeah, ever gonna go for any of the burial gifts. The Master Key is a game changer. Everything else is pretty much negligible. Oh, can't do it from this side. Well, you can, but you have to be more accurate than I am. And, as I've said, it's getting late, so I'm not too worried about it. But, this gets us back to Firelink Shrine. Reading chat, running into a wall. That guy that looks down at his cell phone and walks into a pole. So, yeah, that happens. Alrighty, well, yeah, it was a nice little catch-up stream, about 2 hours long. I'm gonna have to edit a bunch of it out for the YouTube, but anyway, I appreciate the viewers coming in, saying hello. I appreciate Muffin Man Zan for coming in and you know, keeping me company for this little bit of gameplay we've done tonight. Always nice, and anywho. I'm thinking we're going to wrap it up for today, and we'll catch up again next time. Hopefully this time the footage gets recorded well and it doesn't give me any issues after the fact, so fingers crossed for that. Hopefully you'll see this show up on YouTube as a raw clip, and I'm also going to do, as I said, compile footage over time of all the areas to do a much better explained walkthrough. And thank you again, Zan, and anyway, In closing, I appreciate all the support tonight, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and sign off now. Now that we're ending, we'll kind of just sit back, answer any questions the chat may have, although since it's been a pretty quiet night, I doubt we have any. But it's still something I usually do for this part of the stream, the last couple minutes before the end. But it is 2 a.m. my time, so probably gonna just wrap it up here and call it a night. Either way, thank you for all the support, everyone who's joined us tonight, and I hope to see y'all again. Feel free to, if you want, actually, Zan, why don't you go up to the top of the page, since I assume you're gonna follow at this point. Why don't you head on up to the top of the page and hit that follow button. Oh, you just hit it. Darn, I was gonna try to give you the alert. You didn't. Just let me see here. I can fix that. We can still do it. Let me just do this. Cause I cucked you on that one. My bad, man. So we will. There we go. And you will now take the spot at the top of the list. And again, thank you for your time tonight, man. It was fun. Hopefully you'll come back and join us again sometime. And hopefully you'll be here. You'll be one of the few that gets to watch this channel grow from the start. So I appreciate the time you've given me of your time. And awesome. In closing, we're going to wrap it up tonight. Thank you all for joining us. I've said that like 4 times now. I really got to get better at that closing a video thing, but I'm sure that'll come in time as well. Again, thanks for all for joining. We're going to end the stream now. Adios.